Other headlines, a federal judge says the Trump administration unquestionably violated a court order when it reportedly shipped a group of migrants en route to South Sudan. Judge Brian Murphy said the 8 men weren't given a chance to object to their deportations. He also said those officials responsible could face criminal contempt penalties. Earlier today, immigration officials said the men were afforded due process and remain in U.S. custody in compliance with court orders, but they offered no details about their whereabouts. The officials also railed against the judge's demands over their deportation efforts.
We see activist judges stepping in a way that we have never seen before to put criminals first and not the American people. This judge wants these criminals, these rapists, murderers, out on the streets in your communities.
The Department of Homeland Security says the deportees were convicted of serious crimes, including murder and sexual assault. ICE officials said their home countries, which include Myanmar, Laos, and Cuba, refused to take them back. ICE and DHS declined to confirm whether South Sudan was, in fact, the flight's final destination. The Pentagon says it has accepted a Boeing 747 from Qatar for President Trump to use as Air Force One. The Department of Defense says Mr. Trump will start using the plane once it's retrofitted to ensure proper security measures. Critics, including some Republicans, have raised concerns about the cost of modifying the aircraft. They also say accepting the jet is a violation of the Constitution's prohibition on foreign gifts. Boeing has been working on new Air Force One jets for years, but has faced extensive delays. That's as the New York Times and CNN report the Trump administration first approached Qatar to inquire about acquiring a plane that could be used as Air Force One, contradicting President Trump's claim that Qatar reached out offering it as a free gift to him. In the Gaza Strip, health officials say Israeli airstrikes killed more than 80 people overnight and into today, including several women and an infant. That came as the UN reported that humanitarian aid still has not reached Gaza's population. Israel has allowed dozens of aid trucks into Gaza this week after a months-long blockade. But the UN says most of the vehicles are held up because the designated road is unsafe. In Gaza City today, Palestinians lined up at a charity kitchen that's running out of food. People there said they only got watery soup.
What will the children eat? Is this what we serve them? I can't afford to buy rice or pasta for them. For more than 10 days, I have not brought a single piece of bread home.
Meantime, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel probably killed Hamas's de facto leader in Gaza. Israel had targeted Mohammed Sinwar in a series of strikes in a hospital last week. Neither side has officially confirmed his death. Russian President Vladimir Putin has visited that country's Kursk region, the first trip to the border area since Russia claimed it drove Ukrainian forces out last month. Ukraine's army says its forces still hold a thin line in the region. Today, Russian state media showed Putin touring a nuclear power plant in Kursk and having tea with Russian volunteers in the region. The video appeared to be an effort to show that Moscow is in full control of the ongoing conflict. Ukraine's surprise incursion into Kursk last August was one of its most significant battlefield gains of the war. Target is warning that sales will slip this year as customers remain worried about the impact of President Trump's tariffs and the broader economy. The discount retailer also cited the impact of boycotts related to its rolling back of diversity, equity, and inclusion policies, or DEI. The downbeat forecast comes as rival Walmart said it would raise prices to offset the impact of tariffs, which drew the anger of President Trump. Target's CEO said today that raising prices would be, in his words, the very last resort. On Wall Street today, stocks tumbled amid worries about the U.S. government's growing debt, among other concerns. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped more than 800 points on the day. The Nasdaq fell 270 points. The S&P 500 also ended sharply lower. And Congressman Gerry Connolly has died.
Hearing will come to order.
The Virginia Democrat served in Congress for more than 16 years, most recently as the top Democrat on the powerful House Oversight Committee. Connolly started in local government before moving to Congress. He was known for his willingness to engage in spirited debates and was an outspoken critic of President Trump. Last year, Connolly announced that he had esophageal cancer and later said he planned to retire from Congress. House colleagues honored his memory today with flowers and a black drape at his committee seat. Gerry Connolly was 75 years old. Still to come on the NewsHour, A community reflects on what has and what has not changed in the 5 years since the murder of George Floyd. Meet President Trump's nominee to be the next Surgeon General, a wellness influencer and vaccine skeptic. And media mogul Barry Diller reflects on his remarkable journey and surprising personal revelations chronicled in his candid new memoir.
This is the PBS NewsHour from the David M. Rubenstein Studio at WETA in Washington, and in the West from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University.